first one you can, I think it's flat, you know, like 50 miles.
You're getting out of line, you know?
No, they don't do that.
So I got those, and said I'm
Now
gonna
we
use
try
that
real
tires.
hard to get back.
Not one, you know, supposed to get it.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the workshop to order for December 13th, 2021, 6 p.m. Commissioner Wood will not be here. She is actually gone home sick. We wish her well. Again, there's a lot of sickness going on again, very rough viruses, and when she texted us commissioners, I pointed out, we were going over some numbers from public health this morning, me and Commissioner Romney. In my day job, our numbers are spiking back up in Dade County with the current COVID cases. We hit a bunch of days of zeros. In 5 days, it's triple. So just continue to remember that this is something that's still out there on top of the flu and hot and cold and rainy season and common sickness and as well other things. Just be cautious. Need approval of the agenda as presented in the workshop and regular meeting. Approval of the previous meeting minutes should be behind your first set of sheets. From November 8th, 2021, workshop and regular meeting. Any additions, deletions, corrections? Good. No board appointments or proclamations. Approval or discussion of Sludge capital improvement. We have item A, City Park capital improvement for restrooms to be open all year. Commissioner Powell.
Okay, we've got started, there's like 2 or 3 stages to this. We got all the quotes except one, and one guy called us today and said they were changing their quotes, so I don't have all the information that I need to present this right now. So this is something that we may have to bring up at the next meeting. So it's like we have to have door closures, new door handles, insulation. Then we have to have the unit. Then we're going to have electrician and the wiring to bring it over and to wire it up into the unit. So it's a little more than just setting the unit and turning it on. So I just want everybody to know we're working on it, and it may be next meeting before we can get this approved.
Again, it's going to bring everybody today. This is to keep the restrooms open year round as more people are using the park cold and in the winter, and we've got a lot of complaints, and if that's something we still want to try to drive forward to discuss and make sure if everybody's on board, keep continuing to move forward with this. It's just an update today.
That's just an update, and we'll have to keep a good eye on this because we've had some vandalism, some things tore up, and I'd like for anybody that sees any of this or knows of anybody doing this to let us know so we can take care of that, because it's happened 2 times already, so we need to stop. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item B is fire department capital improvement on self-contained breathing apparatus. There's on displaying a fire grant in the Dade County Volunteer Fire Department's part on this. And Chief Smith's going to discuss this with the commission given.
Yeah, all the fire departments in the county also, we've had self-contained breathing apparatus during structure fires. They have a life expectancy of 15 years, which are within a year. Right now, all 7 fire departments have 3 different, operating off different packs. So if we go to a fire with somebody that got a different one, we can't operate. Like if we need a bottle, we run out or something, we can't use what they have, because if something was to happen and it mismatched, the insurance company and stuff could get you because it could malfunction. So Kerry Phillips with Westboro headed this up and worked on a grant for all 7 fire departments. Just to let you know, it's going to be 93 air packs, 186 spare bottles, 93 masks. Is what all the county is. So it's saving money getting all of the stuff with all the counties instead of like the city going in by themselves. So with the county going in, the city going in, there'll be 13 packs, 26 bottles, 13 masks are required for that, because the reason you got packs 13, you have to have a spare bottle for each pack. The total cost on that was $93,701.19. But with the grant, it's going to cut down $8,279.21. So the city's portion will be $85,421.98. Not only that $8,279 discount we're getting, we actually got more of a discount on that. It didn't say because everybody's going in and buying so much. So if we was going in just getting that, it'd probably be more than that off the grant because we're not getting as much. How you buy more quantity of something, you end up getting more than what it's worth. So the city's portion of this is going to be $85,421.98.
Well, give them the total cost of the 7 fire departments together.
County, $115,909 is what all 7. But that's what getting all them that I mentioned a minute ago was $115,909.
No, it's more than that, it's 400.
$466.
Yeah. So all 7 fire departments is the 93 air packs to get what ISO rated for the trucks that's currently out there with a pack and an air pack. This is the first time I know it. We'll all go under one brand, one air pack, 100% interchangeable when we're arriving on scene. But the grant is so very competitive that the $115,000
Is what
the grant was awarded to us. Westboro headed it up, but all 7 fire departments contributed to pay a grant writer out of our quarterly money to help get this grant. I think we paid, how much it was about $1,700 a piece to help with the grant writer get this. And the county is putting in their part of what was the total there with the county?
All right, the total cost for everything is $668,778. The county portion is $467,446.91, and the city portion is $85,421.90.
And the grant is $115,000.
$115,990.
So it's kind of from 4 different revenue sources to meet all 636. And the county has agreed to pay that part for other volunteer fire departments.
Which ours is fixing to go out within a year.
This is
be out of date, not have, because we're coming up on 15 years.
This is just the two pieces of seat equipment for the air packs of the ladder and what we call engine 16 based on the number of packs.
You mean the city is fixing to be out, or not?
Really,
Forever.
all the other departments, everybody's within a year, so 3 or 4 of those departments went in.
South Day, Trenton, and Davis bought them all at the same time under a grant back 15 years ago, under the same grant.
Okay.
The year before that, New Salem and Westboro received air packs, and they got Scott. So we got 3 departments that's got MSA, 3 that's got Scott's, and 1 that's got ISIs and some other things. So we have a good mix. And it's taken us all now, as we all know, as you just heard everything leaving. It takes nearly 4 to 5 departments to fight these fires and stuff now. DOT limits the years on the bottles. Every 5 years, we have to take them and have them hydrant tested. You can do that 3 times. Bottles now, and then you got an obsolete air pack that's 15 years old that don't meet the new standard for the safety standards of the firefighters.
We've had some a couple of years ago go bad, and the cost to fix it was cost for a new one, so we kind of got by, we put it back, we've had enough to get by till we're able to get new
with this, with the new splosh, when waiting for the final for us, the county is going ahead with their part and the grant part to start the PO to that. They've already started the purchase of the PO. And we talked about it, Commissioner, about this, I guess, several months ago, when we started with a grant to show, that's what they needed, to show the input with the counties and the cities for the grant to fund it.
You can't expect people to fight fire without equipment, right, Lou?
Do you know, I had to add to the consent agenda for business on the splosh.
I'm good with
All right. And so again, request of the fire department capital equipment purchase for the fire chief's replacement equipment.
Yeah, we'd like to look at replacing Chief Kaiser's truck. It's a 2009, which is a two-wheel drive Dodge. We're starting to spend, already went through 2 transmissions in it, and it's starting to use more money in it, keeping it maintenance and stuff. And we've been talking, Walker County has these F-150s. This will be a 22 F-150. They've had them for a year or so, and they really like them, and they've held up really good. So we'd like to look at it'll be a 2022 F-150 four-wheel drive. They'll have the camper top on the back, all equipment in. I was only able to get 2 quotes on it. It was right there at the end. The state cuts off their pricing at a certain point, because after that they renegotiate it, and more than likely, he said they're fixing to go up in the price. If we do this and we lock it in, if for some reason they come back and the price is cheaper, he said he can scratch it out and we can reapply and get that cheaper price, but we can't go for this and then it goes higher, can't go that way. There may be a chance if it goes lower, we can get it lowered. So the first sheet that you have, I printed it front and back. If you flip over to the back page of it, it's Prater Ford. This one includes the ranch camper shell and the spray and bed liner. It's $40,885.80. The next one is going to be Sunny King Ford. It's all the way towards the back. This price that I'm fixing to tell you, it does not include the camper cover or bed liner. It's just a pickup truck. So the camper top would be an additional. It's $41,998. So of course, Prater's cheap. We'd like to go with it. And it's 6 to 7 months out. It's going to be June or so next year before it even goes across the assembly line. So during that time frame from our county funds and stuff, we're going to work on buying the lights and stuff. So we'll take care of that. We're going to buy a little bit here between now and then every month to save on that part. We're going to do that other side.
Discussion to approve, deny, or waive. And this is 6 or 7 months, allows
Yeah,
monthly
be the middle,
splosh to build
at
it.
least the middle of next year.
Yeah.
Even.
I'd say we need to go ahead and get it, because the way the market is right now.
We even tried to get the GSA pricing, and they said they've already cut it off when we done the parks and rec vehicle. Prater was cheaper than the GSA pricing on that same F1, or the F-150 that we got for that, so. They're only making very limited numbers, so we'll add that to the consent agenda. Did you have something else, Kurt?
I do, so we've been looking at, 2 new radar, like LiDAR. We've been looking at it since, end of last year, actually. End of last year. We got a price back in January, of this, radar, and it was $2,182.95. We currently can't get it. It's Dragon Eye technology, and like they've been bought out basically. And this other company, Digital Ally, they can sell it to us for $1,595, so $1,595 versus $2,182.95 for one. So I'd like to get,
It's two of them.
yeah.
That'll be what, 3,200. Commissioners,
I'm good with it.
so y'all good to also amend the agenda on the work session? So 3190, two laser, radar. All right, we'll add that to the consent agenda as well. All right, number 5, we have the American Rescue Plan Act. We're going to update where we are and maybe get an approval for phase 1 on the sewer infrastructure upgrade. Just we'll turn it over to Dwayne. Is that good, Madam Commissioner?
Talking about the bar screens and stuff that we were
Yes.
talking about. What we're looking at is improving our screening system down at the plant. The waste stream, since the plant was designed, has changed a whole lot. Our current bar screen that we've got in place is no longer really efficient enough to clean the waste out that works the plant. So what one of our ideas was to improve upon it and go with a different channel and have another bar screen put in that's a lot finer mesh screening system that takes out smaller particles. We're having a lot of problems in the back end of the plant with waste clogging up some of our pipes and causing issues down there. So that's kind of what we're looking at to do with this money.
One of the main things in American Rescue Plan Act that we kind of discussed between ourselves and we agreed upon is to do the infrastructure of our sewer system of the proposed $802,000 that we were receiving. We currently have the $401,000 change in the bank now. We have to have a certain time of commitment on this money, as we can well see that the months of getting stuff ordered and built. We've got till 2026 to have this done, but we have to have it 100% committed by 24. So we've got to get some phases moving on this. I handed you the sheet earlier, and we'll be working on this center section where it says screen. Back in August, James Payton, we acquired an engineer 4 or 5 years ago that we've been working with to see where the health is of our plant. Commissioner Henniger done this, and we've had him on retainer since then. They went through and checked all our pumps and just seeing where we are. Dwayne's going to update us on another section here in a second that we're really working on, but we'd like to start phase 1 of this. And if you go down to the bottom, this is estimated pricing that he done in August. The perforated screen pressing that Dwayne's talking about, where it pulls the finer materials out, is $200 for 2 presses or 2 screens. It's $219,400. There's a bagger assembly. When this stuff comes off, it has to press it, bag it, and get disposed of that we have to get rid of. It's $6,000. The ultrasonic levels that reads everything, and when the chutes he's talking about as the sewer comes in, as it gets so full, as it's clogging up, it'll raise up and automatically turn the screens on and pull this trash out to get the levels down. That's $5,000. Originally, we looked at this in 2018, so from 2018 to 2021, the markup prices went up 20%, so that's $46,880 from the 219 and the 2 other items there. A lot of concrete work and electrical work, and the contractors to actually install it. $40,000 for the concrete, $15,000 for the electrical. The contractor installation is $138,240. Excuse me. And the engineering contingency is based on a 30% of what the total project could be. It was $140,916. So the total project is $610,636 backed on August 21 pricing. I guess what we're saying in phase 1 is we got to turn the engineer loose to design this and get documents ready based on the federal procurement process of the ARP money so we can start seeing what it's actually gonna cost. So we want to get that as we can see that it would be, you know, if it takes them 3 or 4 more months to get that done, we get a set of documents out. We'll have to document the RFP out to the federal procurement process or the state procurement process to meet all the standards. We'll have to have a pre-bid meeting to meet on site to look at things, have an open, close RFP, and open and decide where the best way to go is. So we're asking to update you where we are and go ahead and start the phase 1 of the engineering process of this on the ARP money.
Well, I think that's what we need to do personally.
Which we've been discussing in the background. It's more or less bringing the rest of you up to date and where we are. And we discussed that that was where we really need to focus on our infrastructure with this money. Because we also applied for a grant, state grant. Have not heard from that yet. I put the entire project of a sludge press that you list on the top, the screen pressing. We're also looking at a muffin monster. And what that does is that where the raw sewage comes into the plant in the pit, it would pass through these machines and it would just tear everything up into bitty pieces. The pumps, the four main pumps would pump it up to the top of the plant where gravity feeds anything else, and these screens would clean it up. So all 3 sections here is what Light Engineering felt that we needed to do because our plant was built in the late 80s, early 90s. And we say this again, but people flush these little wrappers down, your wet wipes, and it's not a Trenton problem, it's a worldwide problem all over the nation that's giving us this. It's so far within our plant that it's causing a lot of problems.
Well, actually, I think we started operating sewer in 9.
Yeah, that's what I said. The original design that he had was a older model design. It's bringing it up to some of the newer things. The sludge press is where we talk about getting rid of our solids. As you know, we've had a very wet year, and there's drying beds that they dump the solids into, but every time it rains, it makes them all wet. The water seeps down through the sand and the rocks, and it goes right back down to the head of the plant. We process it again. If it rains 3 inches, we take, how big are those, Dwayne? Football field and a half or more?
Right.
All soup. We're just reprocessing it over and over and over when it rains like this. So this press would help us be able to process more solids, continue to, and then what we asked them to look at is 25 years down the road for our municipal sewer. Where are we at? So this is one step of 1/3 of the section that we thought was most critical. But all 3 of those things that we priced in August was $1,784,211. This is just one start of this. That if we get the second round of funding, we can probably do this whole project of the screen pressing. And hopefully the next thing would be the engineering to start on the sludge press. If we hear we did not get the grant, we apply for the state grant again, and then we'll either look at if that don't pass again, because there's been so many people applying, municipalities and counties. There's over 300 plus, I think, applicants went in on this round. We will have to look at some type of long-term loan to finish this project. And the next step, besides the plant out in our field, is our all clay pipes. We've been trying to get contractors up here to give us an idea what it's going to cost to line our main pipes. Where they go in there and line the existing clay pipes. The few that the departments had to replace, or the contractors, the clay pipes are doing this. And there's roots and it's cracked. They're, what, our 10 inches are biggest,
Right.
10 inches and down, where if it's not feasible to line, you're going to have to dig it up and replace it. So this is a long process, but at least we're stepping into it to get there. So that's one project that we'd like to, with the ARC funding, get started with.
I'm good with it.
Okay? We'll add to phase 1 of the engineering for light engineering. That the like I said, they're gonna start the engineering, help us get the documents together to put out to meet the federal procurement process.
Thank you all very much.
All right. All right, we'll just go straight into the meeting if y'all are all good with this. All right, we'll go ahead and call the regular meeting, December 13th, 2021. The regular meeting at this time, we'll have a pledge of allegiance. We'll go to prayer, then we'll go into pledge of allegiance. So Brother Eddie here, no, we'll go ahead and word of prayer. Dear Father, we thank you for this day and thank you for the blessings beyond this city, these commissioners and our city residents. Lord, we think of this time of Christmas coming beyond us and what it truly means and the birth of your son and that free gift that's given to us every time that anybody needs it. Be with us as we go through this meeting, through our financials, in the future of this city. Lead us and guide us and protect us in your precious name. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Again, this is a regular scheduled meeting of the city of Trenton. It takes place on the second Monday of every month. This time, we have a roll call. Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Commissioner Forsythe.
Here.
Commissioner House. Here. And Commissioner Wooten is out due to sickness. We'll start with department reports. We'll go with the police department. Commissioner Forsythe.
Trenton Police Department answered 806 calls for service during the month of November, conducted 439 business checks, answered 10 animal complaints, responded to 9 domestic disturbance calls, 4 trespassing calls, 18 suspicious activity, and worked 26 traffic accidents. 130 traffic stops were conducted, resulting in 95 citations. The collected fines for November were $16,036.75. The total collected fines for 2021 are $173,169.78. I wanted to say that our Silver Bells is going on. What is the date
For,
the distribution?
probably sometime later this week.
Okay. All right, if anybody has anything that they want to, you know, donate, bring in, see the chief or, the investigator, our new investigator. But we'd gladly, you know, accept anything that you can give, so. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell, Parks and Rec.
Okay, the community center was rented 37 hours last month. Animal control had 7 work orders. We had a little extra work with the leaves and repairs we had to do. We hope we don't have to have that anymore. So, besides that, that's about all that happened this month. And like I said earlier, if anyone sees anyone down there destroying anything, or I'd appreciate it if they would call the police department.
Just call 911 immediately. That way we can dispatch an officer quickly there too.
That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Fire and Utilities, Commissioner House.
Okay, the sewer, I'll do the sewer report first. Remember, we had 26 underground locates, 3 emergency locates, and 10 sewer calls. For monthly inspections, we had 6 remodels and additions and 1 plan review. They completed 4 electrical, HVAC, and plumbing inspections. Excuse me. The fire department had a total of 40 calls. 7 were fire-related, 6 accidents, 5 medical, 10 standby, and they were dispatched and canceled en route to 12. And I hope everybody can hear me with this thing. I'm still a little paranoid, yeah.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. One thing I we have been giving updates on the sewer, and I know that Dwayne has given some updates, and we had some information from some other cities about that tier pricing. Could he give us an update on that? He hasn't.
What we're looking at, we've contacted some of our other communities around to see how they go about pricing the industrial waste. And we've got some help from our friends over the mountain over here. What we're gonna work on doing is coming up to make it fair to the customers as well as take care of the city. A rate based on the amount of waste that a industrial discharger would produce. And we're coming up with a price for each category of waste that we have to treat, so that we can come up with a way of billing them for that industrial waste. Right now, we've got one industry that is interested in discharging a small amount of waste, and we want to try to help them because they're spending a tremendous amount of money right now going with an environmental service to haul this waste off. And we talked with our engineer. Our plant is designed for municipal waste primarily, but we can take small quantities of industrial waste. And we're trying to implement a rate for those users and come up with a rate structure that's fair for the city as well as the industry.
Part of that's based on our usage ordinance that we have currently in place. And as Dwayne has stated, and with our studies from our engineering, we are municipal sewer, which must be for residents and smaller businesses, not for the industrial use. We've learned that in some other things with working with IDA. It really opens some things up, but it's also designing what the plant can and cannot do. We will be having to rewrite our, probably what we figure the best is adding an industrial waste surge rate of tier pricing. So as we all know, we currently, whatever gallons of water you use, you bill the same amount of water for the sewer usage. With something like this, example, if that plant is using 125,000 gallons of water a month, I don't think they're pushing 125,000 gallons of waste back into us for the industrial waste. Now, it's truly coming back somehow, but on these higher rates of divisions, as Dwayne mentioned, which we met with the engineer last week, and he's helping us come up with these, but we will be having to come up with a tiered usage for industrial type waste. What's the limits the plant can hold to continue the municipal growth or any other additional amounts of industrial growth, that we're not taxed and burdened with something that hurts us forever and we all have to pay for it. So we're starting that process as well to make sure that the city is not harmed, and or when somebody comes in and needs this, that they're billed the rate of the waste they're putting back into the sewer, which will be certain types of, or less a sewer meter, if you'd say it would be, just when it's going in for certain things. But the one that's been working with EPD, and EPD's come back to the city, now we're looking at our usage ordinance that we don't have any industrial waste surcharge for this, that we've got to start doing that. And for the amount, we have to know what it's costing us to get that out of the sewer on a daily rate. And that's what also Light Engineering is working with us as well. So you're going to be getting bombarded shortly with things on this. Please don't hesitate to get with Dwayne or with Chris or myself so we can go. This is something we want to help this industry to stay. They're a big employer here, and they're spending a lot of funding from an environmental company to take all this out, and we want to be a good partner here. Sorry, Chris, we kind of added that in. I forgot to.
No,
do
that's
that.
fine.
It's just we wanna keep the ball moving.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't, you know, we want to keep what we've got and recruit more, so.
Again, Commissioner Wooten is out sick, but I know, the guys in Public Works have been really busy. I know all my neighbors' leaves have been picked up and vacuumed up, and I see the vacuum out moving every day. This is a busy time of the year with, winter time coming on, keeping our ditches clean from the leaves that's coming in. Appreciate the three guys out there working, keeping them busy. Please don't hesitate to call for your brush or your leaves, and to get them picked up, and we try to get out as quick as we can and work the routes with them. Again, starting my report, again, it's been a slow month. We have not met with Regional Commission, but we've been really busy, again, as you can tell, with sewer. We've had a few meetings, and we're really looking, and we're doing some testing on some other things that our engineers asking us to do. We're really concentrating with the ARP money to see the second round. We've got some worry that the federal government may not push the second round out to the states. If you know, they had an infrastructure national bill passed that word was 2 months ago when we went to a meeting, or maybe 3 months ago, we went to an ARP meeting with GMA and ACCG that they may pull that funding back. So we've been behooved to start getting projects submitted on planning and budget, and on the municipalities and the counties have been behooved to start getting projects listed on the federal side of what you're doing on the monthly audits that you put in. So that's why we like to start phasing across pieces of this ARP funding out. We'll start into financials if you want to turn to tab 2. We'll start with general fund balance ending November 30th, 2021. Ending balance is $561,095.05. Reconciliation follows. Profit and loss ending November, page 2. Revenue received in for the month is $156,608.61. Page 7 for the month of expenses for the month of November is $155,516.78 for positive $1,091.83. Profit and loss January through November, and this is 11 months. Page 3 will be your gross revenue, $1,975,085.76. That's equivalent to 106.7%. You go to page 10, expenses for the 11 months, $1,959,638.07. We're 105.9%. So we're 0.8% of the good right now of year to date. City sewer, currently ending November is $92,902.33. Your bank reconciliation follows. Charge for services for the month of November is $51,677.06. Expenses for the month was $40,922.31. For a positive $10,754.75. Total charge for services for the year to date, January through November, is $404,901.99, with 97.8%. Expenses for the sewer department is $371,890.12, at 89.8%, 7.8%. Current hotel motel funds, $102,988.25. Both reconciliation follows. Trenton Police Department special funds, $2,484.24. Reconciliation follows. Trenton Fire Department funds, $947.78. Reconciliation follows. Our ARC fund currently is $401,608.40. Reconciliation on it. 2015 splosh funds, $94,686.13. The reconciliation as follows. And then you have the final bit of that. With that 94,000, we still have the Parks and Recs truck. We're waiting on a part. I think the truck come in, they went to fuel it up, the gas gauge wouldn't work. We ordered a new gas gauge, it still didn't work, it was a defective part, and the part just come in today. So Terry and Ronnie have been very patient, but it's, as we can see, it's hard to get parts and things to come in these days. So that still has to come out of that final splosh to account in 20. Do we have a new account in there?
I do not have the account set up in there.
We're estimated out on the current 21 splosh to 83,000. We usually receive the check right after, the county receives the check the last week of the month. And then once it comes in, they reconciliate, they'll cut us a check within the first week or two of the next month. And so we're getting that in monthly.
The money hasn't been deposited long enough for them to, what was the statement over yet?
Okay. Because we put in 2 months at once, and we got all the signatures on the accounts and getting that ready. So that is my report, and it's also the financials. I'll take a motion for the financial report for November 2021.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Forsythe,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Powell. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Appearances. I don't see Miss anyone here for Eloise Gas. We're going to go into Miss Lisa Eubanks, Dade County Library.
Yes, thank you
Or
so much.
Cherokee Regional Library.
That's right, representing the Dade County Library.
There you go.
Thank you guys for having us. We appreciate being on the agenda every month. And tonight I'm bringing with you our newly hired Dade County Public Library Manager, Mindy Howard. And I'm gonna let her come up and speak, but she's officially been the library manager for 1 whole week now. And we had her in the regional offices, putting her through a pretty rigorous training last week. But tomorrow, I think she's so happy. She gets to actually work in her library tomorrow. Be our official first day inside the Dade County Library. We've had her with meeting with the staff. She's met Georgianne and April and worked with them, and then she's got some. I'll let her tell you where we are on replacing our youth education coordinator position. But I'd like Mindy to come up and say hi to you guys. Mindy.
Thank you.
I'm Mindy Howard. I saw you at the
Yes, ma'am.
Dade County Commission meeting. I have officially been on duty for a week, as Lisa said, in training and learning more about Dade County and about the city of Trenton as I'm getting in the process. I look forward to it. I'm so happy to be there. I'm so happy to be in the space. As Lisa said, tomorrow's going to be my first official day, though I was there one day this week and got to meet a few of our patrons as they came in. I'm excited to promote literacy in the city of Trenton. I'm a huge supporter of literacy of all ages. My background is in education. I was a middle school ELA teacher. I also raised 4 kids. I have 4 grandchildren. I'm just excited to be here. We are in the process of looking for a youth education coordinator, which will be responsible for all of our youth programming. We have 1 interview set up for Friday. We just received an application in the mail, so we might be interviewing another person. We hope to have that person in place at the beginning of the year to start with that planning. We have several big programs coming up. Starting in February, we've got the prime time. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. I just went to a training in Milledgeville for that this weekend, and it's bringing families into our library. We feed them, and we sort of help parents learn how to tell stories to their kids, read books to kids. That's really what we're about. Having an informed, educated populace in the city creates lots of opportunities for everybody, and that's really what our mission is. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you having me here.
Anyone here now for the Lions? Yeah, Miss Jane Dixon, I'm sorry.
Well, you don't know I'm glad to be here, and I know you all know what I'm going to talk about. I hope so, because the Alliance for Dade, as you all know, is an organization which is designed to promote businesses, to promote the growth of our community on the inside. People say, well, aren't you out soliciting and bringing all these people into our town to live? No, we are trying to promote the growth and the development of the people that are here. We are very much interested in providing activities, events, or anything like that that would complement the community. Now, a number of you all I saw at two of the big events that we just sponsored. The first one was 9 a.m. on last Saturday, December the 4th, and there are a number of you all that were in the room with me, and that was the Dade Expo. It was wonderful. Two of your men here stayed all day long. I saw them just watching everybody, giving them out stuff. It was a wonderful place to be. We had at the expo, when we opened up that morning, we had at least 100 vendors, people who had prepaid to be there to sell their wares. A few of them did not show, but that didn't matter. We made out just fine with everything we had. We had over 1,000 and something, I got the correct number, so I won't give you anything, but it was well over 1,000 visitors who came, shoppers. There's a story I can tell that I mentioned this to you last week of how to do this. The man and the wife come in the front door and they register. They fill out the ticket so they could win a door prize. It goes back to the back. The man and the wife walk around the room, and you see them walking around still empty-handed. In a little while, you see the man sitting down on a bench somewhere by himself going, you know. And in a minute, you find the lady. Honey, she's already gone through 3 times, and here she comes, and you ought to see her. She had her arms stacked with sacks, and something in her hands. That's a very true story. In fact, that story happened to one of the people in this room. Now, I am not going to embarrass this young man at all because his wife left him in a bench and she went shopping and walked all around and she did what I asked her to do last time we were here. I said, women, spend their money. Get off of their dusty money. Well, honey, she did that. And here she came just all aglow, bulbing down, said, get up, help me carry this. So it was such a fun day. We had a great place for kids to be. They did all kinds of craft projects. We had wonderful food. Y'all, we have a new restaurant in town, remember? Called Birdie's Bistro. It's right where the chicken coop used to be. Not sure if it's open yet, but they did serve food at the Dade Expo, and so did the Mexican restaurant. They sold out. Okay, so people were there to eat also, and that was really good. Santa was there, and he was in his usual attitude, just ho, ho, ho everywhere, and the kids really enjoyed it. The Alliance has something to say to you all in this room and everybody who sees this. Thank you. Thank you for supporting it. The citizens of Dade County turned out. Now, the other thing you know that I'm going to talk to you about is what's called Light Up Trenton. Well, I have had people call me on the phone. I had a man come by my house. I've had people tell me this. It's the best they ever saw Trenton look. It was bright, it was happy, it was full of joy and cheer. And once that band started playing in that parade, I mean the whole place turned on. It was a delight. If you weren't there or you weren't out, you missed a great treat. Because Light Up Trenton this year showed us something. If you keep asking people, you keep giving them and telling them that they're worthy, they will come through. We had more people this year put out scads of lights than we could possibly have imagined. It was very hard to pick the number 1. What we did is we picked the top 10, and I'm going to tell you about them. If I can recall them all, bottom dollar. Did you all see their lights? If you haven't, go by one afternoon. They are amazing. Their entire windows are lit up. Go up and look at T&T Cart up on the road up there. Look at Uncle Lair's Outpost. Look down here at, wait a minute, Groovy Nomad. get it? Groovy Nomad. It had a tree made out of the most beautiful, colorful lights. It was really a good job. Then you know who else did something? City Hall. You should have seen the lights out on City Hall. When the judges drove by, they thought, woo, neat. They did a wrapping, they done a tree. It really looked nice. Keep on going down the road and go over to, you know where Case Hardware used to be? They had that whole thing all lit up with lights inside there. Now, Thatcher's had some wonderful lights, but when they turned them on, it blew a fuse. So, I mean, just didn't get to see them like we wanted to. Keep on going down to the, it's called now the Shop on Main, one of the consignment shops. Oh, it was nice. Ace Hardware, Elders, you saw how they wrapped all their things. People put out effort. The things looked very, very nice this year. Now, I don't want to miss one of my top 10, so I'm going to look just a minute and make sure that I got all of them. Let me see here. I believe I did. I think I did. That Groovy Nomad has kind of set me back. Oh, I know another one. Sundog. Did you see all that stuff that Beth had out there? I mean, it was everywhere. So our message right now to the citizens of Trenton is thank you for coming to the Date Expo. To all the businesses that went out of their way and did something and put out lights, we are so grateful. We are so excited about next year because we have the greatest idea to start telling people pretty soon. But Alex, we appreciate very much the city doing what they did. You didn't do a whole lot more, but enough to make a difference. And it made a difference because people are commenting around the town about what's happening in Trenton. Something's going on. So we hope this will continue, and thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Terry?
Yes, ma'am.
You got it.
We would like to thank Ansel and Cody Dole. They done the lights on City Hall. We added 2 things to City Hall this year. The Groovy put the tree up.
Oh, really?
Well, we tried to do it last year, but we found a way to do it this year, so we had to compete with the Groovy's Christmas tree. We thank Ansel and Cody for doing it. Is anybody else? Kaiser? Chief Kaiser, yeah, they all done that one day, so appreciate them doing that. Mr. William Back, out of you.
All right. I'm William Back with the Industrial Development Authority of Dade County, and that's also the Economic Development Office for the City of Trenton and Dade County. We have some good news because we're always looking for businesses that will grow here in Dade County, and most of our businesses have been increasing employment over the past couple of years. Pretty substantial, about a 40% increase in employment. And in some companies, over the past 3 years, 3.5 years, we've seen as much as a 60% increase in wages. So that's, to some degree, a national trend, but our wage increases here in Dade County are higher than the national average. So that's maybe not so great for businesses, but it's good for people who live here and work here. We have an announcement tonight that we'll have a small electrical generation facility coming in 2022, probably about the latter part of the first quarter. And they'll be making an investment of about $2.1 million. It'll be in the industrial park. It's about 95% within the city limits. And that, there are no incentives for that. So that, when I say incentives, it's very common for industrial development authorities to issue reductions in taxes. But we're not doing that here. They'll be paying full boat. It'll be about just under $300,000 over the first 20 years, about $203,000 during the first 10 years, and about 15% of that goes to the city. So about $30,000 to the city over the next 10 years. So the name of that company is Beltline Energy, and they have been a good corporate citizen where they exist now. So we certainly want to welcome them to Trenton and Dade County. They'll be a good corporate citizen here. Any questions, anything involving what we do?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Legal matters, Commissioner, we know of, any unfinished business we need to?
Alex, I was just like, I do have something I'd like to say. First of all, I totally forgot. I want to congratulate Charlie Hester. He passed his test for inspector for the wastewater treatment plant. So now we have 3 level 3 qualified operators, wastewater treatment plant operators.
And turned out today.
Yeah, they've done very well prioritizing.
Very difficult test.
Yeah, well, I think you probably would have done better on it last time if the guy had put him on the wrong one.
I think so.
Having the wrong test.
You know, the boys are a part that keeps the city moving forward
That's
for
it.
what is needed, and we appreciate them all. Any citizens' participation to the commission before we go into new business or considering items for the consent agenda?
I have a question,
Yes, ma'am.
if I may. We were talking about the trucks and what's about to be purchased or looked into. Is there something wrong with the ones we have, number one? And are we having to buy new ones? Have we looked at the either non-new, used? And who's driving these trucks? Are they, I mean,
Fire chief, Chief Kaiser. He's on call all the time.
are they, I mean, the vehicles we have now, are they not usable and?
We have one in the parks that we just bought. It cost more to fix. The motor was bad. It's a early, it's an '04 model. Chief Kaiser is an '09 model Dodge. It was bought new. It's just 2 transmissions and a lot of things. We got it to a point where to do it, and that's why we use the splosh funds. We'll have patrol cars to start buying here soon too. We
Yep.
spend nearly another $40,000 on one of them on top of that, just to equip it. So you've got $80,000+ in a patrol car. So this is our public safety and our people that's out here running our Parks and Rec, Animal Control answers calls. We're contracted to the county to go out and run these calls. They need to be in a good
But
position.
have we got prices on
Yeah.
used, or are we just buying new?
But we can.
The thing about buying used is you come up with the same problems. And also from transport, transportation, that's what I'm in. Your warranties and stuff like that, it's better to buy a new vehicle than it is to buy a used or partially used because of the benefits of the warranty. So, it's not really feasible to you got a used vehicle. You go buy another used vehicle, you have the same problems or other problems that arrive that cost you money month after month.
I bought both.
Splosh funds cannot buy used equipment. It's capital purchases.
So is this on the
capital
taxpayers' backs, or are these new vehicles, are these taxpayer?
Splosh funds, special local option sales tax that we collect that can be used for capital improvements. It's bought all the police cars. It's bought all this equipment we've talked about. It's improved everything that we've done. Nothing on the taxes of the millage.
So we can only use that on brand new
Capital
vehicles?
improvements, buildings, equipment, the radars for the police, that's bought out of that. The air packs that these firemen that volunteer for free to go in, put $8,000 piece of equipment on their back to go in there and save a life and property.
I understand that, but I'm talking about a vehicle.
A vehicle is a capital improvement. We don't wanna, why do we wanna put somebody that's out there running emergency traffic in a used vehicle that we don't know that's not certified as a used vehicle? As an emergency vehicle. Same thing for our patrolmen. They're pursuit-rated vehicles. We don't want to go buy a used patrol car. Our fire chief, he's out here answering calls. He's on call 24/7. He's the deputy EMA for emergency management of the city as well, and the county.
How many these vehicles are we gonna purchase as in brand new?
We'll always purchase brand new equipment, vehicles. Police department, Parks and Rec, sewer department.
So none of these purchases are coming off the city taxpayers' backs?
Well, not, what do you call that? Millage?
Well,
Splosh funds is, we get millage rate is one part of our revenue. Loss tax is another one. Anybody that buys something inside the city or inside this county, we get 20% of that. Countywide, everybody pays sales tax, all these businesses do. That runs 2 months in arrears. When it comes in, we get 20%, the county gets 80%. Splost, the special local option sales tax that we just started July of '21. It all comes in at one time, we get 16.928% of that coming in. The prior splosh, we bonded it, lost $500,000 bonding the money right out. We agreed this year not to bond it, to get the 40-something thousand that we've got already and slowly build that up. We could have used the other $500,000 to pave more roads or buy another vehicle for our officers. But the vest that goes out, what's our vest like? 5 years?
Yes, sir.
They work on grants too, if we can get them, but we use the splosh to buy any capital improvement, not to burden the taxpayer of millage. So anybody that buys anything at any fast food or anything is helping pay for this. We've also matched our LMIC grant from the state for the paving of the streets with splosh too. We have never paved out of, since the last 8 years, out of general fund for our streets.
So I guess what I'm asking is, we have to buy new vehicles, we have to.
We have to with splosh, we're limited what we can and can't do with it, yes.
Is it a percentage wise, or, I
Do
mean,
what now?
is it a percentage wise?
Our auditors make us buy, I mean, there's a law. Why, I mean, let's see why we buy a used vehicle.
Well, I mean, why buy new ones? I mean, it's kind of like,
My best friend just bought a new vehicle cheaper than he could buy a used one.
well, I bought brand new and I bought used as well.
And I have too. I've always bought used personally, but we're talking about people's lives, responding to lives here on some of these.
Well,
We want a good piece of equipment. These sewer department has to get out in the middle of the night, raining, sleeting, no power. We gotta have a good piece of equipment to either pull a generator to get there or do the job. We bought a new excavator during the tornadoes 2 years ago to help get our streets clean to get to life and property if we need to. We gotta be able to react quickly for the citizens.
I mean, there again, I can see with the sewer needs, I mean, it's beyond needing repair. But, you know,
We tried to buy the vehicle that Terry wanted my first year in office, and we fixed it, repaired it, and it got us to buy another 5 years. But it's not feasible to put the money in it right now.
so what, a new transmission is, what, 40,000 a vehicle? I mean,
We went through 2 in the last chief's vehicle. They're about, I don't know what they cost, but it's an 09.
8,000?
Hmm?
8,000?
So we can either keep using repair and maintenance on top of the taxpayers to keep putting $8,000 or more a year in a vehicle. That's off the taxpayers there. That's repair and maintenance budget. That's in on millage.
so it's $40,000 a vehicle?
Just depends. I mean, that's a response rated F-150, what they call I think Terry's truck was 36,000.
Yeah, around 36.
The one we got for the Parks and Rec was a 36,000. It's a brand new F-150.
Do we sell the old ones, or?
We do, we'll surplus them. We can't trade them in, we have to surplus it, we put it on gov deals. Take that money, and it has to go back in the general fund. We've done fire trucks that way, paving equipment, we got rid of a bunch of stuff.
And it's auctioned off, or just bought?
It's gov deals, we put it out to be auctioned off. It has to be surplus by the commission, we put it on there to be auctioned off. Or we can choose to do sealed bids. We get better money out of the gov deals. We've done lawnmowers, a bunch of old equipment we've got done that way. And we'll have these 2 trucks coming out within 6 months. Well, the other one will come as soon as it gets here, and then the other one gets stripped in there, and we'll surplus it. We've got an older track hoe that we need to get rid of, and there was something else at the street department they're wanting to get rid of. If they're not using, it's just sitting here.
So we're looking at like one vehicle, one fire truck, I mean, one Ansel's talking about.
Well, that's
Talking about
one, and then Terry's, and then I'm sure we're close to patrol cars coming up. We're getting several of those that's coming that we'll have to start looking into and planning. We planned on, I forgot how many vehicles through the 6 years for the police department that we know we gotta have. Roaming and riding, the patrolling they do is harder on them. They sit there and idle nearly 12 hours and out riding around. It's pretty rough on them. And when they gotta go, they gotta go. After so many miles, GMA, our insurance, don't want them on the road for pursuit-ready vehicles. We have to get rid of them. And with the new style vehicles coming out for them, we have to equip all new cages, consoles. I know the last 3 that the sheriff's office just bought, was 38, 39, right at 40,000. It was that much more just to light it, equip it, install it, the computers, the radios and everything.
So the price Angela was given, was that the total, as in adding the extras to it, or is that just
No.
by purchasing the vehicle?
That's the vehicle, the camper, and the spray and bed liner. That's also a county volunteer fire department as well. We're gonna equip it with the lights and stuff and what we can take off the other truck and use on the used truck, on the new truck. The truck that's lighted now was lighted out of his old Crown Vic that we had. We try to use a lot of that stuff we can, if we can. To cut down on it, we'll do it ourselves. It's just how it works, how we've always worked. Ryan?
Hey, I got a question for William back. Can you go over that tax stuff again?
Sure.
Just for my information.
The reference there was that when we have a company that comes in that offers good jobs, we might give them a tax break. But here with a solar facility, with electrical generation, it really doesn't generate anything but construction jobs, which are temporary. So there's no tax breaks at all for that company.
A lot of that's through the state as well too.
That's right.
And they have to go after that.
Is it a solar farm or manufacturing?
A solar farm.
Oh,
It's a
farm.
20-acre farm.
That's why I should figure out that tax.
I didn't really explain it very well, but yeah, there are no tax breaks for people who don't generate good jobs.
Gotcha.
Is there any, I'm sorry to cut, is that everything?
Oh, no, that's good.
All right, anybody else? If not, we'll read over the items of work session, consideration of the workshop for new business, approval of the agenda, approval of the minutes of November 2021, approval or discussion of the city park capital improvement of the restrooms be open year-round. Commissioner Powell's continued getting pricing on that based on the financial procurements we need. Fire department is going to do the city's part for the self-contained breathing apparatus along with the fire grant and Dade County volunteer fire departments and Dade County Commission on the system-wide breathing apparatuses. The amount was again, how much, Council? I forgot to write it down.
$85,421.98.
And then the purchase of a 2022 F-150 with the camper and the spray and bed liner painted to match the truck was $40,885.80. We also purchased, we splashed 2 radars for $3,191 to Digital Ally for the police department. And under the American Rescue Plan Act, we're going to do the phase 1 of engineering contingencies for the screen pressing of $140,916. Any additions or deletions or corrections, commissioners, of what we discussed to approve for?
No.
If not, we'll take a motion for items for new business considered on the workshop.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner House,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Forsythe. On discussion? Not all in favor, say aye. Motion carries. No executive session for this night. Commissioners, that you need? Not, we'd like to say thank you to everyone, and Merry Christmas. We also hope you have a wonderful time with your family coming up and what the true meaning of Christmas is. Taking that time to reflect and be with your family and enjoy yourselves. I'd like to thank Commissioner Forsythe for his service during his term here as police commissioner, for what you've done in moving the department. Welcome, Commissioner. Newly elected Commissioner Mike Norris coming in January, reappointing of Commissioner Powell as our Parks and Rec. If you have any questions, please feel free to get with us. And we thank you all for being here. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
So, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you all. Have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.